Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Welcome to the Marinade, a free-flowing conversation about the creative process with creative people. Each episode, we welcome musicians, actors, comedians, authors, visual artists, filmmakers, anyone who creates art to talk about how and why we make stuff. This is a Jason's Journal bonus episode coming at you live from Bonnaroo 2026. Y'all, I want to start once again by thanking everybody for listening to the show, spreading word about the show, just being supportive over the years of the Marinade. We're coming up on 9 years of episodes this fall, and the opportunities just keep coming. This is our 4th year in a row covering Bonnaroo. I am having the best fucking weekend. Thank you. My body wakes me up at 4 o'clock, as it is wont to do. The day hasn't warmed to the heat of the devil's dick as it's fucking the sun yet, but the cool of last night is waning pretty fast, and I feel real good. Taking my own advice about pacing myself and resting when my body says so is really paying off. The campground is business as normal at this hour. It's about 7:30 a.m. and things are quiet enough I can get a shower and make my way to the media tent. Comedian Drew Morgan, who is one of my all-time favorite comics and also a buddy, is holding the first ever Wook Court at 11 a.m. in Bonnaroo, and I want to get shit done before that show. I think that's the best night's sleep I've had in a month, y'all. I've been going through a period of anxiety, a lot of changes in my life, and, you know, there's just something about camping at the end of a long, fulfilling day that lends itself to a good rest that was much needed. No one's in the media tent but me. I need coffee, and the one coffee stand is thankfully open. This is the most decompressed that I have felt in a long, long time. I feel at peace with whatever comes my way, and such is the magic of a festival like this. But not just any festival. There is a freeing quality to the community I feel at Bonnaroo now that I've been here for a few years. Knowing my way around, knowing the people involved, having a festival family, it all factors into a feeling of safety. I'm not quite done with my Jason's Journal for today, but Drew's show is starting soon, and it is a hike out to Group Camp 5, where his show will take place. If you're not familiar with Bonnaroo's setup, there's Centeroo, where the main acts play, and Outeroo, where people camp and other shows take place. I'm not complaining, but it is a bit of a bummer that Outeroo is so far from where media and guests camp on the other side of Centeroo. I know I missed some things, like Jesse Wells played a secret set, and Crumb Snatchers played a set earlier this weekend. But I'm remembering my number one rule of festivals: no FOMO. I always have trouble finding things in Outeroo since, again, media camps in a completely different area, so I know my way around that area. So it takes me a minute, but now I see the tent where Drew's holding court. To recap, friend of the show, one of my favorite comedians, a buddy of mine, Drew Morgan, is hosting a Wook Court. And if the word Wook is unfamiliar to you, the internet will lead you in a bunch of different directions, so let me do my best to define it concisely. It's a music festival creature person. Someone who attends festivals on a regular basis, often goes days without showering, is likely to partake in psychedelics. You probably get the picture by now. The idea of Wook Court is that you bring your grievances to Drew, and he helps settle them. In addition to being a hell of a hilarious comedian, Drew's an actual criminal defense attorney, which adds a delightful layer to the whole thing. Perhaps an air of even legitimacy. The tent is full of Wook jurists as I sneak my way into the back of the tent and join the fray. Comedian Corey Perry is there acting as a judge. Drew is the master of ceremonies. There's a dispute about a man playing a 2-hour game of Dungeons & Dragons on the Rue bus, a surprise custody battle over an inflatable duck involving none other than Judge himself. Everyone is swearing in on a phallus. I am usually good with words and describing what I'm witnessing, but I don't know how to do justice to this show, y'all. The spectacle that it was. It was hilarious. It was it's just such a feeling of community, which is something that is a hallmark of Bonnaroo. Drew is a master at knowing when to be the center of attention and when and how to let someone else shine. It's something that I strive for when I'm emceeing. It's something that when I recognize it, I just have to tip my cap. The Dungeons & Dragons defendant, for example, is not resisting with the vigor that we might expect. So Drew has stepped into service as his defense attorney, turning in this somewhat, I would say, unsympathetic character into the hero of the story, as all he was trying to do was get laid, y'all. And when it comes time for the duck custody battle, the man who brings the grievance is so locked in that Morgan gives him the stage and rightfully gasses him up. Judge Corey Perry is hilarious in the way he metes out justice. A beautiful woman is allowed to flash her equally beautiful breasts in lieu of the normal shot of Malort as penance. I haven't laughed this hard in a minute. The show is perfectly timed, ending on a high and leaving all of us stuffed with joy. It's almost noon, and I've blown right by breakfast. I've been so busy. We have a long day ahead, so I'm going to get a big lunch and then head back to the media tent to finish writing and recording. Waylon Wyatt at 3:30 is the first act I really want to see. He played Orange Blossom Review a couple years ago and did an incredible job. He's only like 19 years old, but writing beyond his years. No FOMO is rule number 1, and pace thyself is rule number 2 of a festival for me. Jason's journal is published, so now back to camp to regroup and take a load off. This day's flying by, but there's a marathon still ahead. Feet rested, cup filling up, I'm headed to see Waylon. The crowd is sizable and singing along. I don't know this guy, but somehow I'm proud of him, if you've ever felt that feeling before. The 3:30 festival slot is like such a sweet spot. The sun hasn't obliterated us yet. Folks are riding their highs and buzzes at sort of an ideal level. Very few are sloppy. The crowds aren't, which I don't begrudge, but, you know, a crowd full of sloppy people is different from a handful of people having fun. The crowds aren't too big as folks spend time back at camp for the most part, and it just feels real good. After Waylon, I'm headed to Tosh Sultana. A friend turned me on to her a few years ago. The records aren't something that I would really dial up on a regular basis, but her talent is undeniable. She's on the What stage, which is the bigger of the two main stages. She has a setup including at least half a dozen instruments, jumping from keys to saxophone to guitar and back. It is H-O-T hot, but Tosh Sultana is not to be held back by Mother Nature. You know, at the beginning of this trip, I set an intention to approach the journey with a childlike wonder, relax and take risks, live in the moment. And here, with Tosh Sultana and my fellow Bonnaroovians, I feel like I've reached that goal. Alabama Shakes takes the stage at 6:45. Emil and the Snifters, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I probably should have looked that up, is on the way to camp, so I'm taking in a little bit of that set, which is fantastic, before another regroup. My rocking chair and a cold beer providing a few minutes of balm. You know, I haven't seen Alabama Shakes since 2015 at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Their music has played a huge role in my life, seen me through falling in and out of love, losing friends and family, the twists and turns of adulthood. And I remember when I first learned of them, the former king of Twitter, Jason Isbell, I miss him over there, tweeted about the band many, many years ago, and my jaw immediately dropped upon hearing their debut record. And as I sit here watching the force that is Brittany Howard, it lays me out that every fucking song is a banger. They don't have a tune that barely moves or feels forgettable. It's just hit after hit. Howard is a star, and we are planets teeming with life in her orbit. I'm reeling in the most beautiful way and need yet another break. On yesterday's episode of Jason's Journal, I talked about the phenomenon of pumpkining. Tonight, I really want to see Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist at 12:50. Dear listener, humans are not meant to be awake at 12:50 a.m. It is an hour way too close to sunrise. Our bodies are supposed to wake up with the sun. What are we doing with these late night sets? Rallying and digging deep. I find myself at Kesha's Super Jam Esoterica. Rumor has it Margo Price is going to make an appearance in 30 minutes or so, and that rumor is proving to be true. I am not one to get up close at a festival for the most part. I like my space and want to be able to move. This tent is packed, which pushes me all the way to the way back. There's a camera and several hundred people in my way as Kesha introduces Margo as her girl crush, and the band launches into Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes. Craning my neck to see Margo, and oh shit, she's singing and playing drums. There she is. She's such a fucking badass. Huge fan. Every time I get a chance to see Margo live, it is a pleasure, and this is no exception. Remember pumpkining from just a few seconds ago? 10 a.m. Yeah, also usually my bedtime. No, 10 p.m. is usually my bedtime. And we are there, my friends. Teddy Swims is on the Witch stage. I am not sure I know the difference between Teddy Swims and Jelly Roll. I'm probably not the first person to make that observation. I mean, I do know the difference, but I don't know the difference. I know Jelly Roll is racist. That's all I really know. I don't really know. I don't know. It's not for me. Undeniably talented, but it's not for me. And a light rain begins to fall anyway. So rather than push back to camp, I am going to sit in the media tent in the AC and ride a bit. And the rain's a blessing for this sleepyhead. I may have given up and called it a night otherwise. Instead, I'm getting some good work done. And as the rain relents, I make my way back to camp for one last time before Freddie Gibbs and the Alchemist. A change of socks and a short breather later, it's time for a late night pierogi snack and then the main event. The ground is sloppy and so is the set. But there's something punk rock about it, not sonically but in ethos. Freddie immediately announces it's his birthday and he is high and drunk. Soon thereafter, he asks for a shot and leaves us in a chance of fuck police, to which we enthusiastically comply. Once the beat drops, though, he's on point. And in between, he's a little messy, and it's great. He's in a euphoric mood on the day of his birth. He's giving much love to the Alchemist, much deserved love. I'm super glad I stayed up for this. But, alas, dear listener, one can only outrun the pumpkin for so long. Weird Al Yankovic is playing a song about eBay on my way back to camp. I've been within like 2 feet of Weird Al twice today, which is kind of fun. Didn't get a chance to meet him, but such as the media tent at Bonnaroo with the artists just kind of walking by on their way to catering. As I settle into my tent, I feel a huge wave of gratitude. This day was the day I was, quote, least looking forward to at Bonnaroo this weekend, and yet it was an all-timer. And Sunday promises more of the same. If you enjoyed this Jason's Journal from Bonnaroo, I have 3 very simple asks. First, most importantly, subscribe and follow us on your preferred social media platform. We are at Marinade Podcast on just about everything. Second, tell anybody about the show. Tell a friend about the show. Tell a stranger about the show. Share a link on social media. Send us a message. Connect. That makes the biggest difference for us. It's free and takes so little of your time and energy, all of this does. And we really appreciate it when you turn someone onto the Marinade. And then third, if you're up for it, we've been nominated for Best Local Podcast in Orlando Weekly's Best of 2026. I want to win this thing, y'all. Click the link in our bio on socials, and it will take you to an easy link to vote. It just takes a few seconds, a couple of clicks, and it means a ton to us. Thank y'all again and again and again and again. Until next time, go out and create something. Cheers, y'all.